Hello and welcome to Rise and Unwind. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. If you actually want to be on the show, go to our website. That's riseunwindtv.com. And what's happening on today's show? Well, we got this.
Yeah, I hope a kid out there sees an episode and maybe changes their future.
All of that and more right here on Rise and Unwind.
The holiday season is all about creating memories, whether that's baking cookies, decorating the tree, or taking that long-awaited family trip. But if you're traveling this year, you don't have to leave the holiday spirit behind. Joining us from New York City, Let It Dough Sweet is Emily Kaufman, the travel mom. She's sharing how families can celebrate in style thanks to a festive collaboration between Club Wyndham and Pillsbury, designed to bring the joy of the holidays to your travels. Welcome to the show, Emily.
Thank you so much. It's good to be with you.
So good to have you. And it's such a busy time for travelers. What are some of the top holiday travel trends you're seeing right now?
What we're seeing is that travelers want to immerse themselves in experiences in the destinations they're visiting. And they also want to be able to have some of those holiday traditions that they have come to love. And this iconic Let It Dough Sweet allows you to do both.
Speaking of traditions, a lot of families love their traditions, from baking cookies to decorating together. How can they keep that holiday magic alive while they're away from home?
Well, it's important to find a place that it's like a home away from home. Like here at Club Wyndham, they've got the bedroom decked out with a cinnamon roll theme. There's a fun, festive photo booth. There's a hotline to call the Pillsbury Doughboy for baking tips. And Amanda, my favorite part about being in this suite is this refrigerator is fully stocked with all you need to bake from Pillsbury, with cinnamon rolls and sugar cookies. And if you run out, don't worry. There's a cookie concierge on demand right here that can replenish those supplies for you.
Better get ready because I'm moving in. So that Let It Dough Sweet, tell us what makes it such a special, unique holiday experience.
It is so beautifully decorated. There's a fantastic Christmas tree, all kinds of theming throughout it. And you're just steps away from all of the magic of New York City, which is so spectacular during the holiday season.
Yes, it really does look like the perfect backdrop for holiday fun. What can guests enjoy once they're there?
Well, they can enjoy the baking. If you're not baking, don't worry. They've got the smell of freshly baked cookies that is piped in here throughout the room. So you can spread out. You can have your leisurely breakfast. I'm a grandmother. This would be a perfect place for a multi-generation vacation. It is really a wonderful place to be and so close to all of the action in New York City.
And so for anyone inspired to plan their own festive getaway, where can they go to learn more or to see photos of this suite?
You can learn more and start planning your trip by going to clubwyndham.com/Pillsbury.
Thank you so much, Emily, for being on the show. It's been great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Nearly half of adults in the United States have high blood pressure, and many don't even know it. The American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology just released a new high blood pressure guideline offering important updates for everyone, especially women. Joining us today is Dr. Rachel M. Bond, an American Heart Association volunteer expert, to share what women need to know at every stage of life. Welcome to the show, Dr. Bond. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
The American Heart Association recently released a new high blood pressure guideline. What do people need to know about it?
Yes, so the American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology did release a new blood pressure guideline. Things that have not changed are how we define high blood pressure. First step is understanding what's normal blood pressure. So normal blood pressure is usually anything less than 120/80. Anything above that is elevated up until we get to the first stage of high blood pressure. Those are numbers above 130/80. And then the second stage, that's usually above 140/90. The higher our blood pressure is, the higher our risk of heart disease. And why this is so critical, it's unfortunate that when it comes to high blood pressure, a lot of times there are no warning signs. There's no signs and symptoms. It's very silent. So the only way for you to understand if you have elevated blood pressure or high blood pressure is to go to the doctor and get your blood pressure checked on a regular basis.
And let's talk about blood pressure and pregnancy. What should women know during that stage of life?
One thing that the guidelines wanted to highlight was that there are different stages in a woman's life that can actually impact their blood pressure and their overall cardiovascular health. One of those stages is during pregnancy. Pregnancy, for all intents and purposes, is a female's first stress test. With the hormonal changes, a lot of times that could negatively impact their blood pressure. And if you are a patient that during your pregnancy develops high blood pressure, you're at about a 2 to 4 times greater risk of having high blood pressure outside of the pregnancy, and a 2 to 4 greater risk of having cardiovascular disease outside of the pregnancy. A lot of times that could occur up to several decades after the delivery. So having those conversations with your physician and healthcare professional about your pregnancy risks as well as your more traditional risk factors can really help in the management strategies.
And what actions can women take to help minimize the risks?
So there are several. The first one is being active. We know that the American Heart Association recommends at least 150 minutes per week of some form of moderate exercise. That could include walking at a very brisk pace. They also recommend eating very clean and healthy food, limiting saturated fat, processed foods, foods that are rich in salt or sodium, and replacing that with things like healthy fats such as olives and olive oil, and also whole grain. They also talk quite a bit about sleep. When we think about sleep, we need to ensure we're getting at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep per night. And the last thing that's so important is making sure that we're getting our numbers regularly checked. Blood pressure, cholesterol, our blood sugar, and we're also addressing with our physician what our weight is and if our weight is appropriate for our height.
So what are some simple steps anyone can start taking today to help better manage their blood pressure?
There are so many easy steps, many of which I had already listed, but I would say the easiest really is if we have an opportunity to get up and be active, let's do that. As I mentioned, that moderate exercise includes walking, so maybe using the stairs at work. If we're using public transportation, getting off at a stop a little earlier than where we normally do to encourage ourselves to get those steps in. And something also very simple is just making those minor adjustments to our nutrition as well as our overall lifestyle.
And Dr. Bond, where can our viewers go for more information?
So the American Heart Association has several websites. One of them is heart.org, and the other one is goredforwomen.org/high blood pressure. And that's really going to hone in on high blood pressure both during pregnancy and outside of pregnancy as it pertains to women's cardiovascular health.
I want to thank you for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much.
It's been an inspiring week in Austin, Texas, where more than 1,000 volunteers have come together for the 39th annual Habitat for Humanity Jimmy and Rosalind Carter Work Project, the first since President Carter's passing. The build is continuing a legacy of service and compassion, helping families find safe and affordable housing at a time when it's needed most. Joining us today are Jonathan Reckford, CEO of Habitat for Humanity International, and Judge Andy Brown of Travis County, Texas, a longtime Habitat partner and volunteer. Welcome to the show, you two.
Great to be with you, Mandy.
Jonathan, tell us a little bit about the Carter Work Project and the communities Habitat serves each year. How does this year's project differ from other builds?
Well, we are thrilled to be here in Travis County in Austin, Texas, building 25 homes that you can see rising up behind us. These were just slabs yesterday. And the Carter Project is our signature event every year to bring attention to the massive supply problem we have and affordability challenge we have in this country for affordable housing. The Carters set such an extraordinary example. The world found out about Habitat when they got involved in 1984 and helped ride a bus up from Georgia to New York City, slept in a church, and helped rehab a 6-story apartment building. And that's when the world found out about Habitat and started their multi-decade engagement. And everywhere they went, they raised up volunteers and donors and really spread the word. And we know that the best way to continue their legacy is to keep the work going. So we are thrilled to be here, and not just to build these homes, but we have 60 rural communities building this week as well in honor of the Carters. And our hope is that the thousands of people here will then carry the torch as they go out back from this great experience.
Jonathan, why is it so important for Habitat to work with corporate partners and sponsors on projects like this?
Well, the reality is the math just doesn't work right now for housing. The gap between what it costs to create a home and what families can afford is the widest it's ever been in American history. And so it's so critical that we bring the public sector, the private sector, and civil society together to solve a big problem like housing. We couldn't do the work without our local government. Travis County has been a donor, a partner. They've helped with the permanent entitlements for this great big mixed income community we're doing here. And our corporate partners bring funding, technology, skilled volunteers, and their hearts to help be a part of the solution. So we really need everybody if we want to solve the housing problem.
Judge Brown, you've supported Habitat for years. What motivates you to stay involved in this work?
Yeah, I've just seen over the years what a great difference Habitat makes in people's lives by giving folks a permanent home and the stability and all the benefits that brings. And so that's why we invested $2 million from our Travis County budget into this project, which will bring about 48 homes, 25 this week, and then 48 total of 48 shortly thereafter. And it's just with Austin and Travis County real estate prices having gone up so much recently, like Jonathan said, it's hard for people to keep up with that and to afford to get a permanent home that they live in. And so it's helps our community stay unique and weird the way we want it here in Austin by providing options for people across income spectrums to own a home. And that's why we love working with Habitat.
And Judge Brown, local volunteers are such a big part of this build. What does it mean for you and for all those volunteers to see those homes come together?
Yeah, so I'm personally happy to be out of my suit and here in person with a bunch of people working on homes. It's not every day that we get to be out of our digital world and really, you literally using a hammer next to someone that maybe is your friend, maybe is your future friend. Just all the dynamics that this brings together are just so wonderful. We've got over 200 volunteers from the Travis County government that are out here that are going to volunteer on this, as well as hundreds more from the community, from all walks of the community. And it's just a great way to work with and to run into people that you probably wouldn't otherwise. And that gives you such a great sense of fulfillment and being part of the community by doing this and by helping these 48 new homeowners get a home.
Jonathan, for viewers who want to get involved or learn more, where should they go?
So please go to habitat.org. You can learn about the great work that's actually done in your community. We have a terrific affiliate there, but also the work we're doing nationally and globally and how you can get involved. President Carter always said he felt he got more out of his volunteer work than anything he was able to put into it. And so come be a part of the solution. We need your hearts, your muscles, your finances, and your voices to create a world where everyone has a decent place to live.
Thank you so much, Jonathan and Judge Brown, for being on the show today.
Thanks, Mandy.
Thanks for having us.
Agriculture is changing fast from sustainability and food security to cutting-edge ag tech. And the next generation of farmers and leaders are already stepping up. We're going live to the 98th National FFA Convention and Expo in Indianapolis, where John Deere and the FFA are helping shape the future of farming and leadership. So joining us is Bree Harms, Training, Development, and Strategy Manager from John Deere, and FFA student Blaine King. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'm hear that this tech is cool. You guys are joining from the 98th Annual FFA Convention and Expo. Can you tell us about the event and what visitors and participants can expect this year?
Yeah, so Indianapolis has welcomed over 70,000 FFA members, advisors, and guests this week to the 98th National FFA Convention and Expo. Here, students have attended our sessions where we listen to the national officers give speeches, keynote speakers, addresses, notes from sponsors. But also we have this really cool opportunity that is the Expo, where students can explore over 350 careers. There's tons and tons of colleges, tech schools, community colleges. Anything you can think of is here to help you grow your future and really lean into that premier leadership, personal growth, and career success.
And for people who may not know, like me, what do the letters FFA stand for, and how has the organization evolved over the years?
Yeah, so the organization's been around for almost 100 years. And when it was founded by a number of farm boys in the Midwest nearly 100 years ago, it used to stand for Future Farmers of America. But near the tail end of the farm crisis, the leadership of the organization made, I wouldn't call it a huge pivot, but it was a significant pivot as they realized the number of students returning home to farm was dwindling due to yield increases and efficiency. And they realized that the focus, rather than just preparing students to return to farm, as the Future Farmers of America would indicate, instead, they shifted to leadership development and preparing students for broader career success, recognizing that employers just like John Deere are looking for students who are informed and well-spoken and can communicate their worth and the value of the ag industry. So long story short is the FFA letters don't actually stand for words anymore, and they've shifted to just the National FFA organization to more broadly encompass preparing students for future leadership and career development through ag education.
So where do you think your FFA experience is going to be taking you after high school?
Yeah, so as a senior in high school, FFA has played a pivotal role because all these seniors are always asked, what do you want to do after high school? Where are you going to go to school? And it's a tough question for some kids who can't narrow down what they want to do. Prior to joining FFA, I didn't have any idea what I would be doing next year, but being here and talking to people in the expo and talking with my ag teachers, state advisors, state officers, that helped me narrow down to go to K-State next year for ag communications and ultimately enter into broadcast journalism, being an advocate. Like she mentioned, FFA has broadened to encompass multiple careers. So we can be advocates for the industry without being out in the field or out in the shop, being a part of production agriculture.
Hey, Blaine, don't worry about it. You're still in high school. I have a hard time figuring out what I'm going to do for lunch. And I'm a mid-40-something trying to figure out my life now. What advice would you give both students or parents or guys like me interested in getting involved?
Yeah, so certainly if you're a parent or a student, one of the key, actually the key to joining FFA is you need to start by enrolling in an ag class in your local middle school, junior high, or high school, because that is the path by which you get the opportunity to put on the blue corduroy jacket. And so first thing you can do, go to ffa.org. There is a ton of information on that site, not just about National FFA Convention and Expo, where Blaine and I are now, but also there's information about the various career development events, leadership development events, conferences and conventions that National FFA puts on. I would also encourage parents and interested students to talk to their local ag teacher who also serves as an FFA advisor to understand what the courses are that are offered at potentially at the middle school level and or at the high school level, so that the student can start to think about how he or she might plug him or herself into those classes so that they have the opportunity to put on the blue jacket. And then the other piece I would say, if, for a parent or a community member, a lot of FFA chapters have either FFA alumni and supporters chapters, or they might call themselves ag boosters or FFA boosters. And that is an outstanding way to help make a difference for the chapter. Hosting back to school barbecues, helping to fund chapters trips to National FFA Convention, or potentially scholarships for graduating seniors so that they can continue their education at a 4-year institution, a 2-year institution, a trade school, or potentially investing in some work-based learning grants to help those students experience additional professional development while still staying in the home community. So the website, the ag teacher / FFA advisor, and the FFA alumni and boosters are 3 key ways that I think parents and members can really get more informed to get involved.
All right, we're almost out of time. Quickly, where can our viewers go for more information about the FFA convention and maybe this John Deere partnership?
Yeah, so like she mentioned, just look up ffa.org. They'll have all the information there for you. And if not, just reach out. We have a great staff here that would love to talk to you more about FFA if you are interested. So go to ffa.org. All the resources are there, and we highly encourage you to reach out and make that connection.
Hey, I want to thank you too for joining me today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Do you ever wonder what happens after a billionaire just decides, I'm going to give it all away? The office is left to clean up the chaos. Apple TV Plus's Loot is back with its 3rd season, and this time, the Wells Foundation crew is facing fresh drama, bigger laughs, and a few emotional twists along the way. So joining us are Michaela J. Rodriguez, who plays Sophia, and Joel Kim Booster, who plays Nicholas. 2 fan favorites who help keep this hilarious workplace running, well, most of the time. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
All right, now that season 3 is out, fans finally got to see what happens after the jet-setting cliffhanger. How would you describe the vibe of this season and how the Wells Foundation has evolved since last time?
You know what? I think jet setting is sort of the vibe for the entire season. We go a lot of different places this year, and it's going to be really fun. We get out of the office a lot more this season than I think we have in seasons past, which is really exciting for all of us. And it's putting all of the characters in situations that I think are testing them and forcing them to grow a little bit. And they're all experiencing a lot of change, I think, this season.
Sophia is usually the calm and collected one. So without giving too much away, what new challenges really test her this season, either at work or personally?
Well, I think there's a whirlwind of an individual that just comes and knocks her off her feet, and she doesn't know how to deal with that, being that it's so close to home. And she has to navigate that while still managing the foundation. So I think that's a great way to get things started, which is shake her up a bit and make her bust at the seams a little bit, because I think a lot of us are tired of seeing Sophia so straight-laced, So, I think that's one thing. And also our stories in general, how we're paired up and seeing each and every last one of us just, play off of each other.
And Nicholas has become Molly's right hand and also become a fan favorite. What's his big glow up or I guess an moment we should be watching out for?
You know what? I think that, I can't go into too much detail, but I think you get a sense of what Nicholas's sort of goals are beyond the Wells Foundation this year. Yeah. We've planted the seeds, I think, in seasons 1 and 2, and you really see it come to fruition in a big way in season 3, which is really exciting. And you get a lot of a deeper sense of his relationship with Molly and how that started and where it's going too.
And the Molly Arthur, will they, won't they, gets a lot of attention. How does that thread shape the team's dynamic this season?
I've always seen it as, from the beginning of season 1 until now, I've always seen Molly as the mother hen and, Nat's character as the budding father who comes in. Then after that is Joel's character, my character, and Stephanie's character as the children, if you will, and the ones. So I kind of always seen it like that. I mean, what about you, Joel?
Yeah, I think it's interesting this season because it's always fun in games to watch the will they, won't they happen, but it's always interesting to see what eventually what the actual doing of the relationship will look like in practicality and in reality. And it's a whole new set of hurdles for them to get over now that they are a little bit closer. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fun to watch that play out.
And for new viewers that are jumping into season 3, what's the perfect, I guess, on-ramp episode or a quick catch-up beat that they should be knowing before they hit play?
Oh man. You know what? My personal favorite, this is maybe not the best entryway point for a new watcher, but if you want to get a sense of the comedy of the show and you want to get a sense of all of our characters, I do think the fashion show episode from season 2 is a great way to introduce people to this. And then they can circle back and catch up. But in terms of how big our show goes, how silly our show goes, and how much heart our show has, you really get a sense of that in season 2 in that fashion show episode. And you get to see Maya Rudolph in, the height of doing what Maya Rudolph does.
Yes.
So yeah, check that out for sure.
Or you could just give out all your money and have your friends help you on that.
Yeah,
that's true too.
Season 3 of Loot is now streaming on Apple TV Plus, with the first 2 episodes out, with new ones dropping weekly through December 10th. Go check it out and let us know your favorite Sophia or Nicholas moment after you binge. Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today.
Of course, thank you.
Do you ever wonder what it takes to spark the next generation of scientists and innovators? The Emmy-nominated series Mission Unstoppable is back for its 7th season on CBS, shining a spotlight on women breaking barriers in STEM, from space exploration to oceanography and beyond. Joining us are executive producers Miranda Cosgrove and Nicole Small to share what's new this season and why representation in science and technology matters more than ever. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you.
Good,
Thanks for having us.
All right, Miranda, what can fans expect in this brand new season of Mission Unstoppable?
There's a lot going on in our brand new 7th season, but I would say one of my favorite things is we follow a high school robotics team as they create this awesome robot, and then they actually take it and compete against other schools with it. So I just think that's super cool. I would have loved to have been a part of something like that in high school. And we also have one of our correspondents go to the University of Wisconsin to learn the science behind making cheese. So I think that one's pretty fun too. But you just never know what's going to come next on this show.
That's what's so fun, right? Whether it's robotics or cheese. And my favorite episode this upcoming season is actually about a pro soccer team. So we all love sports, and learning about the science behind what keeps the team on the field is a really, really fun episode this year. We follow Dallas Trinity FC and what we call the team behind the team. So you get to learn about all the things that it takes. So that's one of the things that I'm most excited about next season.
And after 7 seasons and more than 260 stories, Is there a particular moment or guest that just has stuck with you?
There are so many. I loved getting to learn about sleep paralysis because that's something I've actually experienced before, and I didn't know it existed until we did a segment on it. And I'm constantly getting to learn things as the host of the show, and also just meeting all these incredible women in STEM. A good example would be Kat Echezarreta. She's the first Mexican-born woman to ever go to space, and she's around my age, and getting to meet her, I was just so inspired by her. So yeah, just getting to be a part of something like this, you're inspired all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many amazing stories. I always say that's like asking me who my favorite kid is. You should never say that publicly, so because you get in trouble for that. For me, I think it's like every day, because we have over 1.5 million followers on social at CBS Unstoppable. We get to hear from people every day. So there's stories about how they watched an episode and they didn't know that they could go into STEM and sports. They were passionate about music and they had an opportunity. They always wanted to be an astronaut. I feel like we're able to communicate with our viewers on such a daily basis and hear about the things that are inspiring them. We've had kids go to college and change their majors. And so, for us, it's about if you can see it, you can be it. And so for me, it's just about every one of those moments that is connecting with some kid somewhere that may grow up and cure cancer one day.
So how do you feel the show does encourage young women and girls to imagine themselves in STEM careers?
Well, like I said, I think if you can see it, you can be it, right? So I think that all kids everywhere, our effort with the show is to make sure that, every kid sees something that they can connect with, whether it's the city that we're filming in, whether it's the job, whether it's, like I said, whether you're interested in tech or sports or music or entertainment, or like I said, you want to go to the moon one day. We hope that you see somebody or something that you're interested in and you're able to connect with, and then you want to learn more about that, right? So we're trying to, I think, create curiosity in kids. So that's really the whole goal of the show.
Why is it so important for young audiences to actually see people represented in these fields on screen?
Well, when I was a kid, I didn't have a show like this. So when I was first approached with the idea just for the very first season, I was so excited to get to be a part of something like this and be a part of bringing it to children. And I get to see firsthand kids come up to me all the time and they tell me they watch the show with their families on Saturday mornings, and that, I saw that woman that creates makeup that's a chemist, and now I want to do something like that. And it's just, I feel like the show does a very good job of showing a range of all different kinds of people and just so many incredible women. And I hope a kid out there sees an episode and maybe changes their future.
So where can families go to learn more about the show and some of the work that the philanthropies are doing to inspire the next generation?
Yeah, well, a couple things you can watch on CBS on Saturday mornings, so please do that. You can watch us on all of our social channels, particularly on YouTube, CBS Unstoppable. And If Then She Can is the initiative that's behind the show. So we hope that you'll join the 1.5 million other followers that we have that are so excited about the show, and tell your friends and family. And we hope everybody comes and has a great time with watching the episodes this season.
I want to thank you two for joining me today. Catch Mission Unstoppable Saturday mornings on CBS. You'll meet some incredible women making discoveries, solving problems, and proving that the future of STEM is unstoppable. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much. It was nice to meet you.
And that's it for Rise Unwind. I want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the show. Go to our website, riseunwindtv.com. Follow us on social media. That's @Rise Unwind. And until next week, that was Rise Unwind.